getting everything situated, making sure we're all good to go. Watching for my videos to catch up. Hope everyone's doing good tonight. Here's my one video. Now if my phone wants to catch up. It should come. It'll catch up here. All right. Well, hope everyone's having a good week so far. Nice Wednesday. Oh, there it is. And of course my volume's not down, which even though I turned it down. Got it. We are going to play with some of the summer release, the You're My Sunshine release. I already have some of my frogs stamped out from the Froggy Fun set with the Raven Detail ink. We're going to do a quick coloring with those. But tonight I'm going to start with, I took a piece of cardstock on my stick and stamp mat. I have my blending buddy. And I am going to go ahead and grab, this is a Simple Blend circle. I've had this is one of the first things I ever bought from Brutus Monroe. I bought this from Christopher in person at a craft show quite a few years ago. And you could make one just if you didn't have something like this with just using a piece of paper and cutting out a circle die. I have some pixie spray on it so it will stay. And we're going to go ahead and do some ink blending. And I wanted to do this first so that it will dry a little bit so we can do some heat embossing on it. So I just have some Clear Skies ink and I have my arranger tool with my dome brush, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to blend the whole thing. And we're going to make a little swimming pool. We'll decide which frogs we're going to use. So I thought just start with some Clear Skies, and I'm really liking these dome blending tools. I still like my blending brushes, but for big areas and when I want lots of saturation, I have found that this has been really nice. Okay, so we've got the Clear Skies. Go ahead and grab some No Diving. And now this is where I'm going to grab, this is the water stencil. It's a 4x4. I do have some pixie spray on it. And I'm going to go ahead and just tap that down. And I may have to tape it too because it's higher. So it's not sticking to my paper as much because it's attached to the other stencil. So I'm just going to grab some low tack tape here. I have some old purple tape. Hi Mackie, how are you? Just gonna make up a little scene here tonight using then summer release. So taping some stuff, taping that down good because I've got, it's a little sticky on the top too. So now I've got some No Diving ink. I'm using the same blending tool and just gonna grab that. I'm doing pretty good, Mackie. I live on the Mississippi River. I don't know if you know that. And we're dealing with flooding. Fortunately, we have the dike for our town, so the town is good, but the island is, the north end of the island is completely underwater. It is a great release. It is fun. It is a lot of fun. I just kind of, I was gone for the weekend and I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do. I haven't even finished unpacking. I was at a crafty retreat. I thought this would be fun to play with today. Yeah, it's the island on the north end is completely submerged underwater. The towns around here, we're going to be at historic flood stages. I think the town just up the river here said they were half a foot away from the 2001 flood stage, but the highest flood was in 1965, and that was before they built the dike. So our whole town has a 4-mile dike, so that keeps the water out, and it's very high actually. It's I haven't seen it this high since, like I said, 2001, and I barely remember that. I am going to grab some Midnight ink as well, and we're just going to add just a little bit of color here and there just to add a little bit more darkness and some spots. So it's one of those things. It doesn't happen all the time, but you live in a river town. It's inevitable. We did check our basement last night, and the basement was good. So I'm lucky where I'm at. I mean, even though I'm off 2 blocks off, we're pretty good. So, all right. So we got this all done. We got some different shades. Then I'm going to go ahead and peel this off, and we're going to see our little lake or our water through here. And then we're actually going to be able to pull this off and see that. But I do want to leave it on for now because this is where we're going to heat and emboss. I'm just going to heat and emboss the pool. But actually, we don't even have to let it dry because I just want to have the pool heat set. So I am going to go ahead and pour that on right away. No, Mackie, no, we won't. Like I said, the dike is quite a few feet tall. I mean, like 20 some feet tall. It's run by because I have the lock and dam system. It's run by the Corps of Engineers. There's a lot of sandbagging going. Everyone's kind of good. And the islands on the house are built like this. The bottom floors are mostly garages, and they open the doors and kind of let that go through. It is beautiful. Hi, Anne-Marie, how are you? I'll share some photos on my Facebook page because the crest is going to be Saturday, so we'll see how that is. Now with the Simon Hurley inks, they do stay dry a little wet, a little longer, so I am going to go ahead and, even though I'm not going to heat and emboss with my Simple Blends on the top, but I am going to cover with the Simple Blends because I can wipe my silver that off after. But this is fairy dust. And you know what, Anne-Marie, it is so fun. You know, I kind of rushed through my designs, and not rushed through, but you know, like I crafted for a weekend on them, and then I haven't had a chance to play with them again, so I'm excited to play with them again tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. So now just our pond has the fairy dust, and we're going to heat set that. You know what, Anne-Marie, I agree. I have a couple things I don't have yet that they're in my cart. I just haven't placed the order yet. I'd like to get the grill. I guess I do have a frog even already done. I do have the grill. I'd like to get the grill in the basket, the sentiments. Fairy dust is fabulous, but you know what, Maggie, I'm almost out. I have today I was getting my cart ready, and I have 2 of them in my cart so that I can, you know, because I've been using it more and more. I have just a little bit of embossing powder over the edge, and I'm just using a sand eraser to kind of erase some of that off. All right, so that it's not. Okay, so now we've got this. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this set aside. We're going to do some quick coloring. Now, I have found that I really liked the Spectrum Noir. I liked the yellow-green blend when I was coloring with my coloring my sample, so we're going to go ahead and use those on my frogs. I don't know which frog we should use tonight. I don't know if I want to have the frog lounging in the pool. I just thought we'd color them up quick, so to bear with me tonight while we do some coloring. But it's this morning I woke up, I couldn't believe it. It was frost on the cars. It was so cold this morning here. For my family watching, if you're watching, I'm getting my cheaters out so that I can see up close, basically my magnifiers. But it got to this afternoon. I've been taking the dog for a walk in the afternoons when I get home from work. He's actually kind of expecting it now. Starts whining right away. And I didn't need my coat, where this morning it was so cold. Yeah, the froggy lounging in the pool. Yeah, it is cute. I think he's hilarious. I mean, like, he's kind of like, nothing's going on. But then again, I liked the frog with the sun, you know, the sunglasses all in the deck chair, just kind of like all pieced out. And then this one, as soon as I saw her and I colored her up, my sample, you see it up on social media, I'm not sure if I shared a few earlier tonight in one post on my Facebook page. I had to give her a yellow polka dot bikini because that's exactly what it reminded me of. Oh, thank you. It's been a fun release. I'm a stencil person. I love stencils. So as soon as I saw the stencils, I thought this is just going to be so fun to have. And I honestly think that my dad, when he grills everything super hot and super fast. He doesn't grill anymore. And so I think I'm going to actually just make him a Father's Day card of the frog with a grill on fire. I just think that's what I have to do, because he grills everything on hot and fast. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening. I mean, everything tasted good, but it's funny to watch him like, Dad, you're cooking this too hot. So I think that would be fun. And the little water stencil, the fire stencil is just fun for different things. And the water stencil, just different, you can add that to so much stuff. And the lily pad is one of my favorite, the slimline. It's just fun. Lots of fun coloring. I like to color. I don't do it as often as I used to. But I've started now that I've got some of these Spectrum Noir and the Olos, I've been doing more coloring. I'll put some darker shades in here. I don't have any rhyme or reason for how I shade. I just do what looks good to me. I don't do any, light source type thing. I do a little bit of trying to round the edges to make a rounder object, and then, where things are underneath a little bit. And I do very basic shading. Just a little bit here and there. So we're going to put a little bit on each side of his eyeballs here, and then we're going to go back through, and then probably just a little bit under his chin. So I may end up using this guy. I don't know if we're going to color all these guys up. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the middle. You know what, Mackie, I tried them out first. That's what I ordered first before the Olos were in the store. I really like them. I need an orange and a red. I forgot to put those in my cart. I'll have to do those when I get ready to place my order. They're fun because it's just nice to have all of them right there in handy, especially like if you're going to go to a crop. You don't have to take a bunch of markers with you. And it kind of takes the thinking out for you, for blending purposes. I don't mind coloring and blending a lot because I have gotten to the point, I took a class with the marker queen, Kathy Rakusin, and she was always big on like color plucking, which she means just grab a color and go. Now I will say I don't color pluck like she plucks, where I grab a marker and make them blend even if they don't blend. I just choose a green though, and then try to find one that one might match. Okay, I think my background is going to be red, orange, and yellow. We've got a green frog, blue pond, so we're going to make purple. I think I'm going to make a purple inner tube here. So we kind of will have a rainbow on our card, and then we might make, I don't know, probably yellow shorts or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I have found that, like I said, with the Spectrum Noirs, I can color the whole thing with light, and I get a little bit better blends. And then you can go in with the dark and mid. Ooh, cannot see the sun parts. I have Copics, but a lot of mine have dried up. So I think it was a crazy reason I think they're dried up. I don't think it's not because of use. It's not because they're cracked. I have my own theory anyway, and I just didn't. I was on the fence. Okay, I'm gonna have to replace a bunch of these, and then I tried the Olos at a show, and I really liked them. And then when Christopher got them in the shop, I just told my honey, I said, I gotta get them. And he said, I'd really like to get those. And he's like, go for it. So I did. because I was going to have to replace too many of my markers. I couldn't just get refills and nibs. By the time I got the refills and the nibs, it was going to cost me more. I still like my Copics, and I still use them, and I'll probably still I'll still replace some of my favorite ones, but I do like the tri-blends. All right, so let's see what colors I have here. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to make pink shorts. Because we're going to have red. Let's make some pink shorts, right? And I'm just going to do, I just did the light. I'm going to do it's not going to look too pink because this is a darker pink. But, all right. We've got those. What do we, I'm thinking we need to do with her too. Now I'm going to fussy cut these out, so, and I'm not a fussy cutter, but I think that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get her colored up quick. Like I said, doing just some basic coloring, not a lot of blending. So tomorrow here, it's supposed to be 69 here tomorrow during the day. And I am already feeling like it's a little muggy. I wore sandals today, but I have short pants on and I'm like sweating. So I think it's an age thing too. But all right, let's get her colored up quick. And then, so what I like to do, and this can be nerve-wracking for people. I remember the first time I do it and I still get nervous, so hopefully it doesn't screw up, because you know, live things happen. After I color, I like to stamp over my images again. Just gives them that finalized kind of crisp look. Sometimes I stamp it over. This is the Raven Detail ink. Sometimes I grab my pigment ink. It just kind of depends on which one's closest, but I always stamp over my images, because sometimes when you color, it's like you almost color over that line, and then this line just gets that crisp little, I was thinking about giving her eyeshadow, but you know what? We're not going to have a prima donna that's going to the pool. You don't wear eyeshadow to the pool. Well, you can wear eyeshadow to the pool, but we'll give her lips, red lips, but I think I'm just going to give her green eyeshadow. Give her just a tiny bit of shading here and under her leg here, because it's in the back side of her leg, in between her toes, under her arm a little bit, under her chin, under her swimsuit top. And then she's got her hat on. We gotta have her eyes have to be a little bit darker. So I'll put a little bit on the side. This is what I mean by kind of rounding. Oop, I got a little bit on that hat, but that's fine. We're gonna make it darker. Hat color. We gotta decide what color we're gonna do the hat. And I'm just kind of blending it out a little bit. They blend, if you can see, it's hard to see, I'm sure, on camera, but the lines really did blend in fairly well. I'm just going over them again one more time. Get out of the lines just a little bit, but we'll fix that. Grab this little white marker here. Here we go. A little bit under her arm here. Okay. I'm not going to worry about her hat, because we're going to go ahead and color her hat. And what I'm just doing is I'm just kind of looking at what markers I have here, and we're using them. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a, well, we did purple for that. Let's do we're going to do this nice bright blue. This is True Blue Shades. We'll just do a little bit and make sure I'm using the right, yep, the light. So it's going to be a little bit different than the water. I can't believe we're at the end of April already. Monday is the 1st, right? That new inspiration box and subscription products. This month was fun. I really enjoyed the flowers and coloring them up. Because, you know, that's just always... I saw my first dandelion yesterday. And I was like, well, that is definitely a sure sign that it's spring because there's dandelions. And Tom mowed the lawn today at lunch when I was home. This first time we mowed the lawn with the dog. So he thought he'd do it while I was home so we could see how he reacted, because he's been around the lawnmower where we have to mow some lawn, but he did it. Hello, Gina. What's happening? We're getting froggy tonight. So we're just coloring up some frogs, and I'm going to do some fussy cutting, which, you know me, Gina, shock, not my favorite, but that's all right. I'm getting better at it. I'm embracing my inner fussy cutter. So I'm making it a little darker around her head because that's where it's going to be, and then maybe around this little, under this little band here, because that's where that's going to be, and then we'll just blend that out. And I use the dark for that. How are you tonight, Gina? So I'm sure kids are starting to get spring fever, right? I mean, it's got about, what, a month left or so of school? It always seems like it gets a little crazy around here. I don't know if prom's this weekend for us. I don't follow it as much anymore because all my kids have graduated, and I only know a few kids still in school. I know senior night for the soccer team is Friday. So they're winding up, and then, so I think it's 2 short weeks. Our seniors go to Florida every year, and they'll be leaving in like 2 short weeks for that, if I can. All right, we got her pink lips. Yeah. Has it been warm by you guys? We're going to give her some green eyes. Like, I mean, have you had a couple... I was just saying earlier that I said it was freezing this morning. Like, it froze. One of my coworkers stays, after April 1st, will stay in a cabin or in a trailer some nights instead of drive over from his... here in town, instead of drive over from his town about an hour away. And he said he got up this morning and the water was frozen. He wasn't expecting that. And I said, I wasn't expecting to look out and see take your kids to work day. Oh yeah, that's a yeah. You just tell them that their teachers decided to take them to work today, or maybe the principal did. They can go and be the principal's kids. All right, I'm not going to color this guy out right now, but I am going to go ahead and stamp these guys down again. Ooh, making messes. So I left my stamps exactly where they were before. We're going to go ahead and stick this down in my Misty. I had it up in that top corner. And we're going to grab our ink here. And I'm not going to worry about the guy in the chair too much because I didn't color him. But we're going to just stamp these guys down, and we're going to hope I did line it up perfectly. And then see, that just gives that little bit of something. We're going to do it one more time because I think her eyeballs need a little bit more. Her pupils aren't as dark as I would like them. There we go. Awesome. All right. So it just gives them that little something extra over the top. Let's see if I can get that up closer. And you can see how fine that is. You know, Mackie, it can be nerve-wracking. And this would be something else, like if you like to have them shiny, like I said, you could use the clear embossing ink, and I would probably do icicle over the top because I don't want, me and black embossing powder don't like each other, especially if your markers are still wet. And then you could heat emboss them to make them shiny, because you really shouldn't use heat embossing with alcohol markers. It's not really good for them. At least that's what I've been told. All right, we're going to go ahead and cut these guys out. I'm going to kind of cut around this guy because I can color him and stamp him back up, because he just goes back in that corner. I'm going to do some Candi fussy cutting. Oh, you know what else I gotta do? This is what I do for my stick and stamp mat. I just have to get the dies. I haven't ordered them yet. I'm a die girl too. I think it's perfect. And I do usually will do my scan and cut as well. But I don't have it plugged in and it's off camera. And if it messes up, I don't want to worry about that while we're in. So, trying to decide if I want to actually, I think I'm just going to fussy cut right on the line. We're going to go for it. I know there's a little part in her arm that I'm going to have to cut out, but I will do that with my X-Acto knife quick, or we will blend it a little bit and make it look like the background. Okay. Yep. Well, the dies weren't in right away when we got this, when our samples were in for us to make samples. So I have to get those yet. And I have an order going to go in, so have them shipped at that time. Just because, you know, like I said, I bought a scan and cut to save myself money on dies, but a lot of times I end up buying the dies anyway because I like the ease, and the Brutus Monroe dies are just perfect. I have never had one cut wrong at all. So his little toes here are going to be a little bit more tricky, so we're going to kind of do those last because they're a little thinner. I am getting better at fussy cutting. I mean, I don't usually use the line, and to be honest with you, part of it is I've had some issues, I think, with my scan and cut. It's so dark in my house that every once in a while when I cut my dies, I almost have to calibrate my scan and cut. I think I need a new mat, but I almost have to calibrate my scan and cut before I use it for anything. And so it cuts things out wonky, so then I end up cutting around anyway. Because it's like one side's thick and one side's right on the black line, and I can't always hide that. So I'm embracing my inner. And you know, a good scissors helps. But yeah, if I can go with dies, I am going to do them first. Just because. I'm going to go ahead and then for me, like I said, for fussy cutting around, I can't draw a straight line with this ruler, you guys. So to cut an even border, it just doesn't work. Yeah, I wouldn't want it. That would be a good reason to not fussy cut, Anne-Marie. Totally understand that. All right, let's see here. Now, you don't like to necessarily cut when I'm on camera because, you know, anyone can do cutting, but like I said, I went away this last weekend with some girlfriends I haven't seen since October, and we got together and crafted, and we ate and laughed, and we had fun. And I brought stuff with, I don't think I used one stamp that I had used before. Everything I bought was either something I had never used before, or it was one of my friends. So it was really fun. I got a lot done, which is surprising for me. I actually did a few mass assembly cards, kind of, as in the sense as they're all the same, but I use different colors. I'm not going to worry too much about that little print between his toes because I can color that with a marker and color it in. So here, let's get this lady colored here. And then we're going to quick make our background. We got to choose a sentiment. And it was just a nice getaway. Now, it was funny because, you know, I went away for a night last November, and I had just gotten the dog. So he was only with us for about a month. And he whined quite a bit because he kind of knew something was off. And I left Thursday around noon. I took the whole day off Thursday, but I didn't leave till noon. I stayed all morning with the dog. And we took a really long walk in the morning. Just a nice, lazy, long, like, mile walk. I came home and quick loaded my car. Well, I think I took him on some errands because I wanted to fill up with gas and this and that. And then, we filled up the car because it was supposed to rain. So I quick loaded the car. And then I just spent the morning, watching some TV and hanging out with him, eating some lunch. And then the rain had stopped. So right around 11:30, I thought, well, I don't know if he's gone to the bathroom in a while, and I probably need to get him outside. His daddy won't be home until later. So I took him up to get the mail. And we walked up to get the mail, which is only a few blocks, and we came back, and he literally threw himself on the ground and laid there and wouldn't budge. And he kept looking at the truck, and he'd look at me, and he'd look at the truck, and it's like he knew I was leaving. And so I went to set my phone down on the edge of the truck, and then he jumped up. So then I was like, all right. So I got him to kind of move, and then I'm like, come on, let's go. And I kind of jogged towards the house. It was really funny. Mackie, me too. Sometimes that's just kind of what we have to do. We do what we have to do. Just cut him out. Sorry, I was just seeing your message. So anyway, Daddy didn't tell. Yeah, he is so smart. Daddy didn't say my name. He tried to say the word, not say my name, not say mommy, any of that stuff. The whole time I was gone. And he did a little whining. And the first night, well, I always take my pillow when I travel because otherwise I can't sleep. And so I had put his pillow that he really doesn't sleep with much on my side of the bed. I had sprayed it with my cologne or my body spray that I use, and I had tucked a shirt in around it so he would have, like my smell would be right there. And he said it took him a little while to kind of calm down and settle down, but then he finally did, and then he was pretty good. Well, I came home on Sunday, just after dinner time. And I was kind of giving him updates along the way because I knew the river was going to be high, but I knew I'd be able to, everything would be fine. I didn't expect any detours. So I texted him when I was 30 minutes out. And I told him, this is where I'm at. I'll be there in 30 minutes. And he's like, guess who's coming home? And the dog jumped up. Fletch jumped up and started just running to the window every 3 seconds. And the whining started for 30 minutes. He's like, I shouldn't have said anything. So he texted me that, and I'm like, all right, that means don't bring anything inside. So I got out of the truck, and oh my goodness, did he jump on me. I just sat down on the ground, and he jumped all over me for about 20 minutes. Tom unloaded the truck for me, and then I think he's forgiven me now. But anytime one of us goes outside right now, he's freaking out thinking one of us is leaving. So I was just like, Pop, I'm not leaving again for a while. So, all right. So my little trick for this little spot is we could color it in, but what I'm going to do is I have my X-Acto knife. I have this little Fiskars X-Acto knife. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to very carefully just make a few little image, because these are pretty straight, and just make a few little snips through. And then we'll use my scissors to finish that off. And then, can you guys hear my TV in the background? I don't think so. It's pretty quiet, but I just thought I'd double check. I don't think anyone can hear it because I didn't turn it off before I started. There we go. All right, so we've got that. And now, the thing that I do that I really like to do when I fussy cut around the edges, if you've never done this before, is I take a black marker. This is just a memento marker. I've had this a long time. And I just go around the edge. You can use a black Copic marker. But it just kind of hides some of those edges, and it kind of makes it look finished in case you cut over the line. Oh, they're playing ball outside. I can hear the ball. He must be bouncing it off the roof. And my dog loves the ball. He doesn't want you to have it, but he wants you to throw it to him. And I take it when I take him walking around our football field, or if we don't have a dog park right now. We're working on getting one, but I take it with me and I throw it as hard as I can. And he knows exactly where I'm going to throw it. And he goes and gets ready and he takes off running. So then I try to bounce it. And every once in a while I bounce it. And then it bounces over the fence and ends up in the track. And I'm like, crap. So I have to go get it because I don't want him running in the track. And then sometimes what I do is I just kind of color the backside right there, like where her finger was. And that kind of helps. Or I'll use the tip of the marker. All right, like so there's a little bit right there. I'll just go in and color it with the point. So not too bad. But that covers up just a multiple of cutting, you know, not really sins, but you know how that is, you know, just if it's not perfect, it just cleans it up and makes it look nice. So we'll do that quick. And go through his toes here. And those two little white spots, we're just going to use the marker to color in. All right, there we go. We've got our little froggies. Okay, so we've got we got this. I think this girl's going to go here. We're going to get him floating up in here. But I don't, and I like the nice, clean, kind of simple part of this, but I don't think I want to add more. So what I'm going to do is, with the simple blends, there is the sentiment. Thank you. There's the masks. Or, like I said, if you were to use and it may not stick completely. I might have to hold it a little bit because I have the embossing on it, which I think I'm going to just do because the stick doesn't like that. I'm going to just stick a piece of tape down. Or if you were to use a die cut and cut yours out, you would just use the centerpiece as a mask. You could put a little pixie spray on it and cut that down, but like I said, with the embossing powder, it doesn't like that. So we're going to do this, and I've already gone ahead and put pixie spray on the sunglasses. It's actually called Shades. I love this stencil. And we're going to go ahead and put that down, and I am going to tape it too, just to be safe. And we're going to do some fun ink blending. And this is where we're going to add the rest of the rainbow in. All right, so I grabbed Bee Sting, Shooting Star, and Roar. Let's get these markers out of the way here. I'm going to use the yellow first. I always use yellow first because that, and we're going to go ahead and now I do have pixie spray on this. I want to make sure it's done. Now for me with the daubers, I will tell you that if you're too rough with them, they will kind of move your stencil. So for me, I like to just push and then twist a little bit here and there. And that's just because it's such a fine stencil, and I don't want to use a ton of pixie spray. I just think this stencil is so fun with the different, you know, you got your stars and your hearts and your cat eyes, and then you got, you know, these 80s vibey ones. I think I'm going to go just a little bit up there. Now I know it's not going to be in rainbow order. I didn't think that mattered so much. Put the yellow there. I just thought we'd have kind of fun with the rainbow colors on the card. And now we're going to use some Bee Sting. And I'm just going to go over it, and I'm just kind of twisting it. And it's not going to have a ton of blending right in here, which I'm okay with, color-wise. Just a little bit here and there where it's overlapping. But I just thought we'd kind of make a fun rainbowy background card. You kind of have to, you know, there's two stencils right there, so there might be some little bit, not really, I don't know, white marks, I don't know what they call that. Ghosting maybe a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Like, you could draw a black marker around the edges, I think, if you really wanted to, of your pool, but I'm not going to worry about that perfection and things. Okay, I don't have an orange one, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my blending brush for the orange. I need to get some more daubers. And a blending brush doesn't quite grab your stencil like the domes do, but I like the deep blend, and they were just handy. I just gave my blending brushes a bath last week before I left. I thought they don't blend. I don't usually give them a bath, but I thought, you know what? I am gonna go ahead and grab my brush to kind of blend that spot right here with the orange. All right. All right, thank you. Oh, thanks, Gina. That's what summer's about, right? Bright colors. Hi, kiddos. Have fun. So now we've got this, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna peel it off. Stick my, we've got that. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And then pull this back. I'll pop right off. And look at our fun, bright summery card. And like I said, I keep my blending buddy right on my stick and set mat because this is what I use for blending. And I stick that stencil part back on, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe it down a little bit. Just so it's not super, colors aren't super there the next time I go. All right, we'll put that aside, and we're almost finished. So I will put it on a card base. So thank you, Anne-Marie. Okay, so I'm going to cut it down just a little bit because I want to tie a little bit of the white in for like a card base later. So I'm going to go ahead and cut down each side. I'm going to like kind of eyeball it. We're going to cut it down to 4. So I'm going to go about halfway, flip it around, and go to the 4. Oop, make sure it's straight. Ooh, I don't think I cut that side straight. Okay, well, let's go over a little bit. I don't think I had it straight when I cut it. There we go. Move it over a little bit now. Just a hair. There. All right. I told you, I'm horrible with straight lines. I'm going to trim just a tiny bit off the top. We're going to trim more off the bottom. And so we're going to have 5 1/4 by 4. And if you really wanted to add some more sparkle, you could pixie fairy dust, the embossing powder, the rest of it, and the whole thing would be shiny. But I thought it'd be fun just to leave the sunshades as kind of like our rock. You could tone down a little bit before you did this, if you wanted the blue to blend just a little bit more, but I thought it'd be fun just like that. So I'm going to go ahead, and before I put this down, I'm going to color in his little toesies here. Just going to grab this blue marker. Yeah, I think I just can't. I'm not a straight. I'm just going to add just a little bit right there. And then when we go to do it, we'll make sure his little toe is over the purple. So I think we might pop him up a little bit. We got her down here. I think we're going to glue her down. See if my glue is going to cooperate with us tonight. I haven't used it in a couple of days, so you know it's settled. Let's just grab another blue. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, I put a ruler down and it's still not, and I have found for me, I have to cut on a flat surface. I learned that the hard way once when I was scrapbooking years ago. That I was cutting, you know, like if I just put my cutter on my lap, and I'm like, well, why am I not getting straight line? I mean, I'm lining it up and I'm cutting, and they're like, you know, or if you have paper underneath or something. So I try to put my cutter on a flat surface with nothing underneath it, and that has helped a lot. And then just triple checking, you know, what do they say, measure twice, cut once. Triple checking that everything is straight on both sides. Especially if I'm, you know, trying to do something like this. If I'm just cutting a piece of scrap paper, I just go for it. All right, so we got some liquid glue down, and we're going to put that down to cover her. I think we'll put him down with some foam tape. And I have some foam somewhere here. I'll just snip a little bit of that off my roll. You know what, Maggie? I do too. I even have the corners that one of the moderators from Stamp Junkies made, and I haven't used them yet. I try to eyeball as best I can just because, you know, and I tend to find myself, I'm never straight. And then I'm like, well, oh well. I guess that's part of, you know, crafting, right? All right, we're going to cut this down just a little bit. You know, that's the one part for me. You know, somebody else might color outside the lines. Maybe somebody else has extra glue. Me, I'm not straight. All right. Now, I am going to put, this is foam tape and it's very sticky. I have some, and I don't even know what this is, but it's very sticky. I am going to throw a little bit of liquid glue on this because we're going to go over that embossing powder. Okay, that one, I just always refill my glue. This is all Barely Arts glitter, or Barely Arts glue. I fill all my bottles up with the refill. Yep, Mackie, trademark. It's perfect. Yep, we're not. All right, we got our little frog in the pool. We got our little girl froggy walking by, checking him out. Now we need a sentiment. And we've got Soak Up the Sun, Hello Summer. You know what, Anne-Marie, I've started standing up. I've started standing up when I glue my panels too. Leapin' lily pad, you rock, don't worry, be happy, you're totally awesome. I think we're gonna go with one of these off of the Summer Lovin'. I did tie in some of the black from the images. We're gonna stamp it in black on some white paper. My stamp set is stuck in my package. So we'll do that and we'll get our card kind of finished up. Grab our other little Misty. And I got a card panel here. I'm just going to tear a piece off and stick that in, and we're going to I think we're going to do Soak Up the Sun. Because if I'm going to do summer, I want to sit, and I don't want it to be super hot, but I want to soak up the sun. I would get a tan in a heartbeat. I mean, lay out and read, but I don't want to be like hot, hot, hot. Like 80 degrees. What was yesterday was the perfect day, right? April 25th. Not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket. That will be my tomorrow. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of do a quick little fussy of cutting of that. I cut my sentiments. I don't really worry too much about the fussy cutting part of it. I just try to make it not look horrible. I have MASH on in the background here, and I think it's one of my favorite ones with, oh, I can't think of his name right now. The CIA guy. That's always, you know, the dumb guy that pretends he's so Flag, Colonel Flag. Yeah, here, just heard part of it for a minute. All right, we got Soak Up the Sun. Ooh, we got just a little corner here. Let's fix that. We're just gonna have the one card tonight, if that's all right with you guys. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna stick that right here. I'm gonna use some liquid glue for that, because it's gonna go over the top. And then I'm actually gonna stick it on a card panel first, and then I'll stick it on a card base a little bit later. I don't have any card bases made up right now. And I used up all of my pre-cut. Those are in my cart too. My pre-cut card bases. I love the Brutus Monroe pre-cut card bases. If you guys haven't used those yet, they're so nice. All right, so let's flip that over and quick cut this on a white panel, which could be a little overkill, but I might put it on another colored card base. I don't know. We'll see. Since I'm out of my standard, this gives me some options. All right, let's see if we can do it, ladies. I'm gonna stand up, Anne-Marie. Oh, shoot, got some glue over the edge. Alrighty, It looks pretty good. It's close enough, I think. There we go. Alrighty, there's our card for tonight. I appreciate you guys coming with and joining me tonight, and you know, using some of the froggy fun in the summer. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I'll see you next week. We'll be using some of the new May inspiration box and items. So thank you, Mackie. I love the bright colors. Simon's inks are amazing for that. So thank you guys so much. I don't know if you can see that sparkle. Hope you guys have a great evening, great rest of your spring, and I will see you next week. All right? Have a great night, guys. Bye.